On April 15, 2013, the city of Boston was shaken by a horrifying act of terrorism during the annual Boston Marathon. Two brothers, Tamerlan and Dzhokhar Tsarnaev, planted two homemade pressure cooker bombs near the finish line of the marathon, intending to cause chaos, destruction, and loss of life. The explosions ripped through the crowd, resulting in the deaths of 3 people and injuring more than 260 others, many of whom suffered life-altering injuries. The attack sent shockwaves across the nation and the world, as people grappled with the senseless violence and the impact on one of the oldest and most revered marathons in the world. In the aftermath of the bombings, a massive manhunt unfolded to capture the perpetrators. Law enforcement agencies, including the FBI, local police departments, and federal agents, worked tirelessly to identify the suspects and bring them to justice. The manhunt intensified when the FBI released photographs and surveillance footage of the 2 suspects, later identified as the Tsarnaev brothers. The city of Boston and its surrounding areas were put on lockdown as law enforcement conducted house-to-house searches, evacuated residents, and pursued every lead. The pursuit ended in a dramatic shootout between the suspects and law enforcement in Watertown, Massachusetts. Tamerlan Tsarnaev was killed during the confrontation, while Dzhokhar managed to escape, leading to a tense and nerve-wracking manhunt that lasted for hours. Finally, Dzhokhar was found hiding in a boat parked in a residential backyard. He was apprehended and taken into custody, bringing an end to the manhunt and providing a measure of relief to the traumatized city. The Boston Marathon bombing left an indelible mark on the city and its residents. The attack, carried out by 2 radicalized brothers, shattered the sense of security and unity that the marathon symbolized. It also highlighted the resilience and strength of the people of Boston, who came together in the face of tragedy to support one another and demonstrate their unwavering spirit. The trial of Dzhokhar Tsarnaev further exposed the details of the plot and the motivations behind the attack. Tsarnaev was found guilty on multiple charges, including the use of weapons of mass destruction, and was sentenced to death. The Boston Marathon bombing serves as a painful reminder of the capacity for violence and the resilience of communities in the face of tragedy. It also underscores the tireless efforts of law enforcement and first responders who work tirelessly to protect and serve, even in the darkest of times. On April 19, 1995, the city of Oklahoma City was forever changed by a devastating act of domestic terrorism. Timothy McVeigh, a disgruntled Army veteran, detonated a powerful truck bomb outside the Alfred P. Murrah Federal Building, a 9-story government office complex. The blast, fueled by a mixture of ammonium nitrate fertilizer, diesel fuel, and other chemicals, created a massive explosion that shattered nearby buildings and inflicted widespread destruction. The impact was felt for miles, and the blast claimed the lives of 168 people, including 19 children, and injured over 500 others. The bombing shocked the nation and brought to light the dangers posed by homegrown extremism. It exposed the vulnerability of even seemingly secure government buildings and sparked a renewed focus on domestic terrorism prevention and response. In the aftermath of the attack, a massive rescue and recovery effort was launched. Emergency personnel, including firefighters, police officers, and volunteers, worked tirelessly to search for survivors and provide medical aid to the injured. The heartbreaking images of the damaged building, the search for victims, and the anguish of families waiting for news became seared into the nation's collective memory. Investigations quickly led authorities to Timothy McVeigh, who had meticulously planned and executed the bombing as an act of retaliation against perceived government abuses. McVeigh was arrested within days of the attack and eventually stood trial. During the trial, evidence revealed McVeigh's extremist beliefs, his anti-government sentiments, and his motivation for carrying out the attack. He was found guilty on multiple charges, including conspiracy to use a weapon of mass destruction, and sentenced to death. The Oklahoma City bombing served as a stark reminder of the devastating consequences of domestic terrorism and the need for increased vigilance and security measures. It also highlighted the resilience and unity of the Oklahoma City community and the nation as a whole, as people came together to support the victims, their families, and the survivors. Today, the Oklahoma City National Memorial stands at the site of the former federal building, serving as a solemn reminder of the lives lost and a symbol of hope and healing. The tragedy continues to shape the collective consciousness, serving as a reminder of the importance of fostering peace, understanding, and unity in the face of hate and violence. Dennis Rader, a seemingly ordinary family man, led a double life as one of America's most notorious serial killers. From 1974 to 1991, Rader committed a string of heinous crimes in Wichita, Kansas, earning him the moniker BTK, which stood for his modus operandi: bind, torture, kill. Rader's reign of terror began with the murder of 4 members of the Otero family in 1974. Over the years, he continued his brutal spree, targeting women, men, and even children. His victims were chosen seemingly at random, and he derived sadistic pleasure from their suffering. What made Raider even more chilling was his penchant for taunting the police and media. He sent letters detailing his crimes and gloating about his ability to evade capture. These communications fueled fear in the community and frustrated investigators who were desperate to apprehend the elusive killer. However, Raider's arrogance ultimately led to his downfall. In 2004, after years of silence, he resurfaced by sending a floppy disk to the police. Unbeknownst to him, technology had advanced, and the disk contained metadata linking it to Raider's church, where he worked as a compliance officer. In February 2005, authorities arrested Raider, and he confessed to his crimes, providing chilling details of his sadistic acts. His arrest brought closure to the families of the victims and ended a decades-long manhunt. In 2005, Raider pleaded guilty to 10 counts of first-degree murder and was sentenced to 10 consecutive life sentences. His crimes shocked the nation and revealed the capacity for evil that can hide behind a seemingly ordinary facade. The case of the BTK killer stands as a stark reminder of the darkness that can lurk within human beings. It also highlights the importance of diligent police work, advancements in forensic technology, and the resilience of communities in the face of unimaginable horror. The legacy of Dennis Rader will forever be associated with the terror he inflicted on his victims and the lasting impact on the families and the community he targeted.